Edelsteine und Kristalle waren.
Gems and crystals have always been valuable companions, fascinating people through their beauty and their energetic properties.
Energetischen Eigenschaften.
The relationship between humans and gemstones certainly dates back a few millennia. The oldest artifacts that prove this are amber, well over 10,000 years old, that have been engraved. So obviously, jewelry was made out of it. It was not just found like that. If we look into the different cultures, be it the shamanic, spiritual, or even the Christian and Islamic traditions, in whatever traditions, we always find crystals in each of these cultures. They were certainly used in cults even then. They have been found as burial objects, and only certain things were even added to the graves. I would say it really started first with precious stones, and later with magical stones, healing stones, when the first high civilizations arose. So to make a rough classification of the different eras in which gems have played a role, one might say that it began in the Stone Age. I would even call that the archaic phase, where people still had to trust their intuition. They did not have science in the modern sense, so instead they used their life experience. I think people first experienced then that there was more to these stones than just their beauty and outer form. I think this archaic experience certainly led to the first applications as healing stones. We can still observe that today. Stone Age cultures, primitive peoples, still exist. There you can see how they use stones, some as healing stones, simply because of what these people can perceive directly, because they can, to a certain extent, communicate with the stones. The subsequent period I would call the mythological era, where civilizations arose, such as in India and Sumer, where the stones were given a place in the cosmology, or were assigned to the planets, signs of the zodiac, or the gods. And then, starting with ancient Greece, I would call the natural studies phase, where stones were explored, where they come from, where they played a role as ores and as source materials. That would be the period starting with the Greeks, the Romans, and the early Middle Ages. Then came Arabia, the medical phase, during which stones were made into medicines. They were ground and processed alchemically so that minerals were made into drugs. Even then, that has continued until today, resulting in homeopathy and spagyrics, which use the traditional alchemical recipes. Then came the scientific phase, with the emergence of mineralogy and geology in the last 300 years. The medicinal uses fell into the background, because you could not explain how stones work in that way. And then in the 20th century, the esoteric phase came, when the circles of anthroposophy, the medicine of Hildegard of Bingen, and modern esotericism sparked an interest in the healing properties of stones again. Today we have a synthesis of all these different phases. They have not replaced each other, but each subsequent one has added to the others. The archaic has remained just as the mythological, the natural studies, the scientific, and now also the esoteric. Today we have the opportunity to draw from all of these sources and see what can be applied and what works in practice.